Let's get it on!
Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.
Good evening, everybody. We are the Ducross brothers. Along my side, as always, is my partner in crime, the one and only. I'm Tristan Ducross. Along my side, as always, is my brother, Sean Ducross. Oi, what a show do we have in store for everybody tonight. Sean, UFC 250 is right around the corner. Headlined by Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. We even have, over the weekend, something that you and I predicted, didn't we?
Yeah, and then we'll talk about that towards the back half of the show.
But it's been a crazy kind of like whirlwind, if you so to speak, because when you're looking at UFC 250 and the preview that is going to happen on Saturday, Sean, is that Amanda Nunes, kind of the greatest of all time right now in terms of the women's, correct? Kind of easily to say right now?
I guess you could kind of say that. I mean, the biggest thing that I was running as I was looking at this UFC 250 this weekend is the fact that when you look at Felicia Spencer and you look at like appeal, I guess you could say, Tristan, and she's not really that appealing. She is hardworking. She is determined. She took Cyborg Justino to the distance. So she has.
But was she really ever really in that fight?
Oh yeah, she was very competitive. That fight was a lot more competitive than anybody ever wants to give credit for. When you could take a brawler like Cyborg the distance, that's enough to get recognition like you've never had before. Because not a lot of women did that. And you look at how do we get here? Amanda Nunes basically has cleared out the entire division.
Oh, hands down.
In both the bantamweight and the featherweight division. She's knocked off who's who of who's champions. So you look at this bout and you see, well, a question comes to mind.
What's the question?
The question that comes to mind is, and I didn't want to really put it out there, but I'm going to.
Drop it, Sean.
Did Amanda Nunes take this fight seriously? And I say that, Tristan, for the simple fact that when you look at this fight, you look at the fact that Spencer took Cyborg the distance. Yes, you know what? At the end of the day, Amanda Nunes beat Cyborg.
Amanda Nunes didn't just beat Cyborg, Sean. She took the soul from Cyborg.
True. And
Felicia Spencer, the only thing that scares me about Felicia Spencer is because nobody's giving her credit. Like, no credit. Coming into this fight, she is an underdog. And don't get me wrong, she was the Invicta featherweight champion. She earned it. She earned her stripes. She's coming off an amazing run in Invicta. I get it. 2-1 since her call up in the UFC. Had a huge win against Megan Anderson. My two questions, my book says, and new.
He burst my bubble, Tristan.
I kind of think that
he burst my bubble.
Right? There's two questions that come to light. Is this a new era? Or does the Queen's reign run rampant? The good thing about Felicia Spencer is that she is one of the most durablest featherweights and she can take damage. The thing is, she hasn't really faced that woman that had all the tools put together. Because you could say what you want about Cyborg, but once you kind of matched her intensity and matched her power, and that's what Amanda Nunes did, it kind of was the blueprint at dominating Cyborg.
You want to know what I can say about this, Tristan? Want to know what I can say about this? Is we discussed years ago that when Miesha Tate took on Ronda Rousey, we kept saying
there was a blueprint out there.
Was out there.
Yep.
The blueprint was there.
And the blueprint's out there now on Amanda Nunes.
Absolutely. the blueprint is that you gotta weather the storm. Yeah, I know. She finally got over her Achilles heel and showcased that she has the endurance to go full 5 rounds. Yeah, I'll give her that. But as somebody who is a go-getter, yes, she went to the distance with Shevchenko. But that was a strongly contested bout between the both women.
Bikini 10, yeah.
And you look at the fact that when you look at that bout, you look at Amanda Nunes, she got tired by the 3rd round. If Felicia Spencer has the endurance, like she does, and she can weather the storm, the blueprint is out on Amanda Nunes. Yeah, she is the best pound-for-pound woman in the
scary power
entire mixed martial arts. But the blueprint's out there. The blueprint is there. It's which female fighter is going to take that. Because how many fighters did it take after Miesha Tate put out the blueprint on Ronda Rousey
several.
before she got taken down?
Several.
It took until Holly Holm came. And what was that? The blueprint was be patient on Ronda Rousey. Let Ronda Rousey come to you, and then you weather the storm. And as long as you do that and keep your distance and don't get sucked in,
never get to the point where you get sucked into somebody else's game plan, because that's where you're going to lose 98% of the time. You're going to lose that way because, I mean, unfortunately, that's the way it is. A game plan is instilled when you go inside the cage for a reason. You're there to execute it. And by the end of the game time, you got to still be within yourself to execute it. And that's the thing that I think that a lot of people miss it, is the game plan. Never get outside of yourself, because you know what you're capable of doing.
And I believe that to be true, Tristan. And I think that's what's, to me, scary with Felicia Spencer, is the fact that I don't see her being overwhelmed. I don't see the spotlight getting to her, because it didn't get to her against Cyborg Justino. So, at the end of the day, if she weathers the storm, we could be seeing an Ann New. I will not be surprised come Saturday if Felicia Spencer is walking out of that cage, turning the MMA world upside down and upsetting one of the best, if not the best, female mixed martial artists to ever step foot inside of a cage.
Bro, it is scary to think that we could possibly see a new champion walking out of the cage Saturday.
And then my question to that is that, okay, let's go back on the other side. If Amanda Nunes walks out as still reigning champion,
what's left for her?
There is literally nobody in the UFC women's divisions that she has not beaten nor taken down that is relatively a known commodity, Sean, or somebody that is supposed to be competing for the number 1 contendership or the title.
5 title defenses. On 5 different occasions, she has defended the bantamweight title.
Yes.
This will be her first featherweight title defense. If she keeps defending the titles, she dominates another division, there is legit nothing for her to do in combat sports and mixed martial arts for the UFC at this point in time. She should go pull a Conor McGregor, go get some whiskey or whatever she drinks, and just chill out for a little while. Ain't nothing left for her to do except go out on a high note, because she has ran through the bantamweight division. Getting past Spencer means that she will go right through the featherweight division, because she is easily the toughest opponent that is left remaining in that featherweight division. Let's be real. There ain't nobody that's standing up to her face to face that can bully her, pick her apart, if you're looking on paper at this point. Except for this girl. And again, it comes down to the mindset. Who wants it? Who's into it?
Who's hungry? Who wants it more?
And that's kind of my question that I have with the Cody Garbrandt fight versus Rafael Assunção. Like, you're talking about a 37-year-old was once a top guy in the division. Cody Garbrandt, fastest rising star. But, man, he was like Humpty Dumpty. He fell off that brick wall real quick.
Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
Humpty Dumpty had to get put back together, whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about. Humpty Dumpty is literally trying to put himself back together to get back onto that wall and look for another fight and another opportunity at that title. This is basically both of these guys' last attempt to grasp at whatever glory they have left to get to the top. Oh my God. I have no idea, honestly, but this card is weak, period. Weak. I mean, Sterling versus Cody Stanhagen.
If you want to look at why Cody Garbrandt is the co-main event, it's because of his name, and it goes to show exactly what you just said, how weak this card is. And again, my note to myself is, why is this a pay-per-view? I don't get the mindset of why the UFC does something like this, that the card is not a clear value.
Sean, this is the weakest card that I have seen.
No, it's not.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them. But it's not the weakest. You're talking about Cody, okay? I just saw something the other day that Cody has been battling demons and this and that on the other side of the pillow.
He should, dude. He's been knocked out 3 times.
So when you look at the transition period that we are in, and you look at what is laying in front of Cody, or looking in front of Assunção. So it's almost written in stone that you're going to see Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo for the 135 title.
I can see that.
So essentially, this fight is the #1 contender's bout for that title.
Facts.
So because of that, you're then looking at the fact that that's why Cody and Assunção is the co-main event. And the interesting thing is, though, Assunção has been notoriously known as the gatekeeper of the division.
100%.
He's never been able to get over that hump and be a rising star to that title reign. He gets, and then he's facing a guy who's been there, done that. You know it's so bad, Tristan, that when you look at Cody flipped the script on this. Cody has a new jiu-jitsu expert.
Yeah, changed everything.
And Ricardo Almeida. If you know him, the dude's a beast. Then you switch it over, and you've got a new boxing trainer that's helping him out with his striking in Mark Henry.
Well, Sean, at some point, when you get lit up like a Christmas tree multiple times and you fall off the brick wall and you break yourself and you literally have to have somebody put all the pieces back together, you have to start somewhere, right? Sometimes it's your camp, sometimes it's yourself. Maybe here it was a little bit of both for Cody. Maybe this could be his redemption story, that he could put things together and move it along, move it up the scale.
Maybe.
Get one last hurrah. Climb that ladder, get to the top one last time. I think that's what he wants. Going against a gatekeeper like Assunção, it will be a good fight. I don't think it'll be noteworthy because I think that we're going to see Cody go in there. And even though with new coaches, I still see a very, very reserved Cody, if that makes sense this time.
Yeah, I can see that, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say now is
Do you
the
think
time.
he's going out?
Better late than never. I see Assunção putting an end to this by decision. And he's going to be the new #1 contender for the winner of Jan versus Aldo. And finally, he gets his due in the UFC.
Dude, speaking of, a guy that's on this card that's going to be getting his due, which I kind of think that it's in the making, is Alistair Sterling versus Cody Stanhagen. because the winner of this ultimately will get a title shot for the vacated bantamweight. But also on this card that could be very interesting on this card, the only really noteworthy outside of Amanda Nunes is that I'm more intrigued about if Sterling wins, and then I look at all the way down the card and I see O'Malley on this card from bantamweight.
The guy that everybody talks about.
And I'm thinking Sterling versus O'Malley for the vacant bantamweight title. That would be exciting.
I think you'd get a lot of people talking, considering that Sean O'Malley is one of the prize prospects that the UFC currently has right now. The fact that he's undefeated, this fight that he's going into, I mean, it's all about him. You look at the fact that he can control the distance. He does it very well. He's flashy with his kicks. He's got straight line power. The guy is fantastic. There's nothing to say that inside the cage that you don't like about the guy.
No.
And you talk about Sterling. Sterling's an interesting cat because you go back, a year, 2 years ago? When he had that public spat with the UFC about like getting paid. I wish I could remember. But you look at that bout, and I think that's due for Sterling, because many people would have thought that Sterling was punished after his comments. That he was fighting so much to go up the food chain. And quite frankly, I believe that's probably why his fight is not the co-main event, is because the fact that UFC is still not ready to put him up there yet, because they still hold bad taste. That could be a little bit of it.
Could be a little bit.
Could be.
A little bit.
Could be.
And what was mentioned is that Sterling's fight should have been a co-main event. It could have. I mean, I just don't think there's really a co-main event on this card.
Because
I see a lot of guys that could be on the bottom of a prelim card. And that these guys just got pushed up forward and said, here's your fight card.
Have at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the Apex Center in Las Vegas. And dude, that looks so much better than what they did in Jacksonville.
It does, because again, it's their home.
It's WWE, thank you.
It's their home. It's taking a page out of WWE. It's taking a page out of AEW. It's learning the tweaks and the intricacies of what you have to use for your environment. And the Apex Center, I mean, dude, fighting in a 25-foot cage, it does add a different dynamic. You can't sugarcoat that. And Dana White wanted to say, it's like, the 30-foot cage was just fine. But it was. But again, let's go back. History doesn't repeat itself. Like, it looked good. And this fight is going to be no different. It's going to be in the Apex Center. It's going to look clean. It's just one of those things that I enjoyed it. Another fight that stands up on this one. Neil Magny versus Anthony Martin. Magny has won 5 of 6 fights.
See, if you go by name value, Sterling co-main event, you could see Sterling in a co-main event somewhere down the road. Neil Magny, you could see a co-main event down the road. But against who they're facing, I'm like, no way. You cannot sell me on this fight card being a pay-per-view. Name value makes all the sense in the world. All the sense. I'm just left speechless for what we're talking about. This card makes no sense for a pay-per-view.
And I agree. I liked the interviews too, with the backdrop in the back. It felt like a little bit of a Bellator scrum. But except for it was more put together. It was cleaner. It appealed again to the camera. Again, these are the little things that they're learning as they go. That's a clean presentation that you could continuously show.
But I'm just saying that some of the stuff that they're doing right now at the Apex Center, when it comes full circle and they're allowed to have fans there, they need to keep some of this.
Dude, again, I cannot stress enough. Okay, I like listening to Dominic Cruz on commentary. It reminds me of Tony Romo.
Where he can
sees things at a faster clip
before anybody else
than a lot of other people. I really like Daniel Cormier. The fact that he's there, his approach to commentary is trying to coach the fighter.
I was just going to say that, yes.
And
Dominic sees stuff
Yeah.
visually before stuff happens. As an analyst, beautiful. DC sees it in a coaching perspective.
And it adds a different dynamic to the commentary flow.
What would you think that if you had DC, Dominic Cruz, Joe Rogan, or Anik filling in that other spot? Like, I would think that would be the ultimate team right there.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I just don't think you want to have like Joe Rogan and Dominic Cruz and Daniel Cormier. I think you got to have Daniel Cormier, Joe Rogan, and like John Anik.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you can have essentially both of those and only one like Anik and Rogan. I don't think you can do that.
Yep.
But all in all, man, dude, Apex Center, dude. UFC,
you guys are killing it. Good job, UFC, with the Apex Center. We're going to a break. We'll come back out of it. We got Jon Jones drama all up in this business. We're going to talk about that and then so much more with the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors. Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross. We'll be right back. The Ducross Brothers, the Sports Warriors, Wednesdays. Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross, giving you fresh content and fresh take on combat sports. From professional wrestling to Muay Thai to MMA, breaking down previews on cards, so much more. Wednesdays with the Ducross Brothers, Sean and Tristan Ducross. All right, everybody, we are back. Thank you for tuning into us tonight. Really do appreciate it. Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross. Ducross Brothers, cross that line. Couple things. Shout out to Auntie. I Love Auntie. For all your CBD needs, go to iloveauntie.com. Use promo code Ducross Bros and get 10% off. Go to our Facebook page, The Ducross Bros. Get the pin link right above my head. ESPN Plus. Save you a little bit for the ESPN Plus. As you can see, this is not beer. This is not beer. And yes, I'm going to plug it anyways because this shit is freaking good. Liquid Death. I signed my soul over to them, so I got some free cans. It is not beer. It is water.
And much like what's going on in the world this time, you can see my shirt.
Stand up, Sean. Stand up.
Control your narrative.
And as you guys know, we are the Ducross Brothers. I'm Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross. We are an opinionated combat sports talk show. We are very transparent. We call exactly how we see it. We control our own narrative. This world that we are living in, it is a very, very strange world that we are living in right now. And you have to control your own narrative. So that's what this world needs to do. And that's what we're representing is control our own narrative. That's hashtag control your narrative. That's what we're going to plug.
Essential Carter 3 has created a movement, I would like to say, of control your narrative. And if you don't know who he is, I mean, I was never a big fan, but I'm a big fan now because he's speaking facts. And it's been one of those things that it's like, it resonates in certain aspects.
Absolutely.
And much like it's resonating, I guess, in certain aspects with Jon Jones, he's trying to switch the book and control his outcome. And right now, he's in a public dispute with the UFC and Dana White regarding wanting to get paid, saying that he's going to relinquish his light heavyweight title. I can't see if he legitimately did that. Or
I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it.
Even though he did send out a tweet saying that.
Go ahead, take my title.
Not just that, he sent out a tweet saying that it's going to be Reyes versus Young for the light heavyweight title. And he said, enjoy it. And then he said, 2021, Izzy, you want to do this? Let's do this. But it's always and Dana White says, well, Jon Jones was asking for an absurd amount of money.
So
But yet
original
Jon
reports came out was funny because original reports came out said that he asked for Deontay Wilder money. And I laughed at that. I was like, okay. Clearly he's been hit one too many times or snorted one line way too many.
Well, what he said about the Deontay Wilder wasn't not asking about Deontay Wilder money. He said that he made half of Deontay Wilder money, which is true because this goes back years with you and I. Years with us talking about mixed martial arts making less money as a fighter versus what boxing does. This has been discussed since our days of covering Bellator, Bjorn, and Houston Alexander. It goes all the way back. You can go on our YouTube. You can find that interview. It goes all the way back. And I tell this story till I'm blue in the face. When you have Houston Alexander that looks across right at Bjorn Rennie and says,
I remember that.
when are we going to get paid like boxers?
I remember that.
It's been with me ever since because it shouldn't be this way. Mixed martial artists, there is no reason why they cannot make the money that boxers do if they're allowed to promote themselves.
Sean, listen to this. Listen to this. Tell me if this isn't wrong. So, granted, Jon Jones asked for what, north of $15 million for his fight against Francis Ngannou. If that's true, that isn't, whatever. It is what it is, okay? I'm not going to blame him. But if it is true and he did ask for 15 mil, okay? 15 mil for a fight. Dana White reportedly said, I will open up my books. You ain't even worth that. I will show you your payouts. I'll show you everything that you have earned. You ain't even worth 15 million. You're barely worth 5 million. Books say a lot for how much a fighter makes. But then I'm thinking, okay, then I start hearing rumblings, right? Fighters want to get paid. Jon Jones wants to get paid, right? We've talked about a union, right? Henry Cejudo's biggest issue about why he retired is due to money. Okay? So now you have two people complaining about money, about why they're not fighting in the UFC. But hold on. Here's the kicker, folks. UFC was sold for $4 billion, correct? Right?
Yeah.
Dana freaking White was just paid, got a paycheck for $250 million. So, guys, Dana White is making more money than the fighters? Fighters go inside that cage every single day, put their life on the line every single time they step in the cage, and your boss makes triple what you make?
Tristan, whether it's baseball, NFL, whatever it may be, your boss is always going to make more money than you.
Bro, but I'm just saying that if you're making $500K...
It doesn't matter. The bottom line is your boss is always going to make more money. So that argument is slightly skewed. But I will go on one thing, is that I do agree. Payments are flawed. I said it a minute ago. In order for a fighter to make more money, they need to be able to self-promote. Yes, you said union. Yes, our guys over at Fightbook said union. Yes, we've said it a million times on our shows. Union, 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 union. We talk to everybody around the MMA community. They throw the word union. We've seen about
nobody
over-exaggeration. We've seen about 15,000 people come together to try to form a union. It falls flat. So here's what I suggest, okay? UFC is not a business. They do not hire you. They are a organization that you should be a part of.
Yeah.
They should be a sport organization that you're like, yeah, I'm going to go complete that. Just like MLB. The only difference is that they are contractors.
See, again, that's when you mention contractors, right? And you're looking at a business. And a prime example of that is, again, the WWE. There's a lot of parallels to it. We keep saying it because everybody has to start understanding it and falling in line. Because UFC is about their business, their brand. Not about the fighter's brand, not about the fighters that are stepping inside that cage. So, as fighters, Sean, Dana White himself said it, I'll show you the books. I will open up the books. I will show you what you sell.
Tristan, to me, that's a business. That's like when I go to work every day.
No, because I'm just saying, I'm talking about your
Tristan,
point.
I get it.
You got to sell yourself.
And now I'm going off of your point.
Right.
Okay? Again, you're validating my point.
Yes.
UFC is a business. And I say that because you talk about books. Oh, I'll show you by my books. Okay? If you work in a business as a manager at some level, the books are presented to you of, oh, well, you're not making this much money, so we have to cut this many hours. We got to pull this much back, this and that. So when you look at that, that's what the UFC does. Well, I'll show you the books. Well, we showed you the books a year ago. We showed you the books about 3 weeks ago about the pay rates of these fighters. Yes, I get it that some of them don't draw. But again, to me, it's not about drawing. It's about they go in that cage and they fight at a high level for the fans to put their blood, sweat, and tears on the line. So at the end of the day, when you look at this, UFC should be labeled as an organization.
Yes.
So if they're labeled as an organization, then
they would fall underneath a different umbrella.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then the union, and this is just now over the course of the years, let's flip the script. Again, control your narrative. So if you're a fighter, think about everything you can control and what your end result is. If it's about making money like Jon Jones and he feels this is the best way to do it, then by all means. Look, Conor McGregor sits out for almost a year and a half because he knows what his worth is.
He knows how to brand himself. And again, with the Reebok deal leaving, the Reebok deal going kaput, which is the worst thing that has ever happened to a MMA fighter, was this Reebok deal. Am I right? Now that is gone, trust me, the floodgates will open, sponsorships will come, fighters will start making the money that they want. But again, it comes down to the fact that they have to control their brand. They have to. It is their brand. It is their livelihood. You want to make money? Make money. Go out and do it. You know, whether some people like it or not, Paige Van Zandt's doing a wonderful job on Instagram.
That's a different conversation for a different day. But you know what's interesting about this? Is that, yeah, you know what? Reebok's allegedly leaving the UFC, their deal's expiring or whatever. Here's my devil's advocate. So the UFC used leverage between Fox Sports and ESPN to get a better ESPN deal.
Yes.
So we've seen it for years in Major League Baseball or NHL, where NHL had Reebok. They left Reebok, went to Adidas. You look at Major League Baseball, they went from Nike to Under Armour to Majestic. Who's to say that once Reebok's deal's expired, that they don't try to leverage a better deal with another retailer?
It's possible.
What? Who's to think that maybe they don't, that Under Armour doesn't go, ooh, me. Who's to say that? So while your biggest star right now in Jon Jones is like, yo, pump your brakes. All I asked is, I want to get paid. I didn't specify how much money I want to get paid. I just said I want a super fight. You denied me that request, then you took it publicly. So for him to finally,
you just mentioned something. Sorry, I have to insert myself into this topic, into this conversation real quick. It's because you brought up the fact that he basically brought everything to the far light into public, right?
Yeah. Well, Dana White did.
Right. And that's the thing, is that Jon Jones said, you're tarnishing my name. Bro, didn't he tarnish his own name?
And he did, but that's a different conversation, because I don't know why you got to take it personal. Because, yeah, there's a lot of personal negativity around Jon Jones, and we've said our fair share of it. But this is a very positive note in my eyes that this could be a game changer if played right, because unlike Conor McGregor, who's more about himself, I feel that this is more about the game of mixed martial arts and the pay.
Now, this doesn't necessarily help any of the guys that are on the bottom of the card, Sean, but okay, you talk about game changer. If you get all the champions, right?
Yeah.
All the champions together that they're like, nope, we ain't fighting because we deserve this X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
They all step outside. They're all with each other. That could be a powerful statement. Now, it does no good for anybody that's below them, except for the anarchy that runs the top of the ship. So it could do wonders for the championships, bad deal for the bottom feeders. Kind of like what's going on with Major League Baseball.
I don't think, though, that it matters about the bottom people.
But wouldn't it give you some kind of credit to all of a sudden be like, you know what? Yes, I might be getting this paid at the bottom of the card, right? But then you look at all your stars with the championship gold, and they're all of a sudden maybe making $6, $7, $8 million now. And all of a sudden, the incentive to become a world champion is now that much better because now you're striving to be that guy.
Yeah, so you're thinking that if the top of the food chain get paid, and it's showed there, then the level of competitiveness will be better at the bottom of the food chain.
I also think that at some point, Sean, we have to honestly stop showing the figures of what the fighters get paid. Stop that. We all don't need to see that because we're all normal human beings. Like, we see a dude make $5 million and he's complaining about, I want that. I want to make that. Man, I ain't even close to making $1 million, bro. So why? Why? I just don't see why we need it. We don't need to see the fighters' money. Pay them for what they're worth. Let this new era usher in with the sponsors that are possibly going to be coming, and let it move on. It's going to be crazy when everything starts coming out.
I just want to see Jon Jones stick to his guns right here, because this could change the game to what everything's been deserving of. I just, if done right, it's just like with all the union talk. If it would have been done right,
at the end of the day,
it could have been a game changer. But now let's switch the script, flip the script, change the narrative, and go this route.
Let me ask you,
and I think we can see it.
Let me ask you one question before we go into a break and come out of it, because it's been an incredible night. So go ahead, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Go ahead, right down there at the bottom. Hit subscribe. Enjoy the show. We do this every Wednesday. We're the Ducross Brothers, Sean and Tristan Ducross. Thank you for all the new people that are tuning into us. Appreciate it. Does Jon Jones, at the end of this day, at the end of everything that we have discussed, is he worth $15 million?
Yes. Yes, he is easily worth $15 million.
You heard it here, all the Ducross brothers. Sean believes that he is worth $15 million.
And many people are going to say that's far-fetched just because of his poor aspect. But if he didn't have that, easily. Just like I'd gladly pay GSP $15 million to come out. Conor McGregor, $15 million to come out.
Money draws, game changers. That's the way I look at it.
Promote yourself.
Promote your worth.
You'll find success.
If you allow somebody to pigeonhole you and hold you down, you're going to continue to do that. We're the Ducross brothers, the sports warriors. I'm Tristan Ducross. On my side, as always, my brother is Sean Ducross. We'll take a quick break, come back out, and then we'll wrap up the show. All right? We got AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite. We're going to talk about Mike Tyson, Henry Cejudo, Vito Belfort. What is next for those guys in AEW? It's going down. And there's so much more. It's such a little area. Be right back. The Ducross Brothers, a combat sports talk show Wednesdays with Sean and Tristan Ducross, where they talk about combat sports, ripping from the headlines, from previews of UFC, Bellator, MMA events, you name it, we got you covered. We'll talk about Muay Thai, wrestling, anything that you guys want to talk about. Wednesdays with the Ducross Brothers, Sports Warriors. All right, Sean. Crazy night. Appreciate everybody that's tuning into us right now. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, the bell icon. Don't miss an episode of the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors. Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross. The Ducross Brothers crossed that line. I love to call us a new breed of combat sports talk show because I don't think you get anything like us anywhere. We are very transparent, and we love to give our opinions and break stuff down. You could go to iloveanti.com for all your CBD needs. Sean uses a CBD muscle rub. I use the CBD oils. Amazing stuff. Use code DuCrossBros. Get 10% off. Right above my head right here is ESPN Plus. You can get our code if you go to Facebook, The Ducross Bros. It's
or
pinned
just
at the
right
top.
after here, I'll pin it in the description.
Yep, absolutely. Sean will get you covered. We are trying something a little bit different. I did sign my soul over, so we are not drinking beer. So if you guys are wondering why why we're actually drinking cans on air, it is liquid death. It is water, your purest form. Amazing stuff.
You're so corny with that. Because you really want to make sure people don't think we're drinking beer.
Well, because I'm drinking water in a can. Like, if people look at it, I could see, honestly, people like, why are the Ducross brothers drinking beer on the show? They had never done it before. Although I've thought about asking you, is like, dude, we should seriously have some whiskey on the show. We should. We are bourbon and whiskey drinkers, and it would be absolutely marvelous to have some whiskey on the show. Just saying. Would be amazing. But so, a lot of talk still going on in the combat sports world about Mike Tyson. 53 years old, bare knuckle, boxing, expedition, pro wrestling. Where is he going to lead? I don't know. Mike Tyson is in the world of combat sports everywhere. Everybody wants him. Tito Ortiz, Evander Holyfield, Roy Jones Jr., Wanderlei Silva. Everybody wants Mike Tyson. Everybody wants Mike Tyson. He's 53 years old. He looks in great shape, body shots. And all of a sudden, everybody wants a piece of him.
He did not look great at all in that altercation last week with Chris Jericho.
Bro, he was almost asleep at the pay-per-view. And then he looked drunk inside the ring.
I would like to challenge that theory. We would so make it. Unless we're playing a game of whiskey shots. Then that may be a different story. And then the outcome of the show would be vastly different. Thank you for kind of sidetracking it.
Well, because, dude, we are huge bourbon and whiskey drinkers. You should see our cabinet on beer and whiskey.
Or scotch.
Yeah, or scotch. Scotch, bourbon, and whiskey,
now,
we got you covered all day.
Dabble into tequila.
Yes. I bought 2 tequila bottles.
And we've never had tequila before.
Nope.
But drinking is like what it looked like with Mike Tyson.
Yes.
Easily. It looked like that
I'm still trying to figure out the only guy that I didn't...
feeling really good in that sequence. And it looked so awkward. He lost the battle to his t-shirt. He had some guy next to him that looked like he was drunk too. The whole sequence looked awkward.
Sean.
The push looked like it was trying to channel back in 2010 or whatever.
Sean,
they were trying to regurgitate.
All right. So this is where we're so different, right? I legit went back to just refresh my mind, okay?
Let's see where you
2000
go.
2000
Hold on. Let's see where you go with this, because then I went back and looked at that same storyline in which that was discussed.
Yes.
And I saw something in that was like, ooh, I can't figure out which situation was worse.
All right. So, Sean.
Okay.
2009 on Monday Night Raw.
Yes.
You had the Generation X, Shawn Michaels, Triple H
Yes.
versus Chris Jericho and Mike Tyson.
Yes.
You talk about him ripping off his shirt, him having an issue. Forgetting that, like Hulk Hogan, you got to pre-cut a shirt. He had the same problem when he ripped off his shirt 10 years ago, 11 years ago, on Monday Night Raw, trying to rip off a black shirt to get to the Generation X shirt. Bro, it was the same issue he had then. Forgot to pre-cut a t-shirt and they think that he's Incredible Hulk and he can tear apart his shirt.
Okay, so that was your flaw.
Yes, because I looked at it, I was like, bro, you're 53 years old and you couldn't rip off a shirt? Like, you didn't even tear away your shirt right. And then all of a sudden I looked at the footage from 11 years ago and I was like, bro, you had the same issue.
and then my issue was, so the push was okay.
Okay.
But you go back to that situation, and the punch that Mike Tyson threw didn't even come in within inches of hitting Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho sold that like it was the most deadliest punch ever. I was like, wait a second. He didn't even come close. Like, it wasn't even a flash.
No.
Yeah, I swear, the hook was like this far apart.
I thought the same
thing. And
thing.
Jericho just went down.
If you go back on YouTube, where we're at right now, and you look up the 2009 Monday Night Raw, Jericho Tyson versus the Generation X, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels, you can pause the footage and see as he's throwing the punch, Jericho is already starting to come down. And I'm like, yeah, I saw that too, but I was more concerned that the tearaway shirts was exactly the same issue. Because I was going to feel bad that if he couldn't tear off his shirt both times.
And then you look at, like, Henry Cejudo was standing in the back of the melee. Like, he was like, come on, Mike. He looks so nervous, but yet he comes out and says, well, I don't want to mind dabbling in the wrestling. I want to fight Ryan Garcia. I want to do wrestling. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's like, man, you just want to try to do it all right now.
Sean, it was funny because Henry Cejudo, right after this altercation, I got so mad. So mad. Because Henry Cejudo goes onto Instagram, live on camera, gets his phone, and goes live with Mike Tyson in the back joking around with Chris Jericho.
Right.
And they immediately have to remove the video because Henry Cejudo was caught filming the interaction between Mike Tyson and Chris Jericho. And nobody was the wiser. Except for me because, well, I follow Henry Cejudo on Instagram. And I was like, wait, why am I getting a live notification for Henry when he was just on TV? Click it. Oh, no. Oh, no. They're not aware. Oh, yeah.
And you know what?
Rashad Evans was there too. Sean was like, who's that guy? That's Rashad Evans. He has long hair? Yeah.
And lost a lot of weight.
Yes.
But his
noticeably slimmer.
His awkwardness of being there was about as random as why Henry Cejudo was there. We know why Vitor Belfort was there.
Who's the guy with the makeup?
Because he was training with Mike Tyson. So that's the connect between those two. Henry Cejudo being part of it, Rashad Evans being part of it. I'm still confused.
Who's the guy with the makeup?
I don't know, but he was wearing one of Mike Tyson's ranch shirts. So maybe he was a ranch hand. I don't know. But I felt bad for the guy.
From Yellowstone?
Because I felt bad that he was going to get seriously hurt by Sammy Guevara.
Oh, my God. Because the guy wouldn't let up. It's as if he didn't know that it was a work. And I swear, Sammy Guevara was starting to get pissed. Because at one time he kind of stumbled and pushed forward towards Sammy. And Sammy just kind of dropped his elbow right in the back of the neck. And I'm like, oh, this guy's so going to get murdered inside of a ring because he doesn't understand that this is a work.
Right.
And everybody is inside there, and he thinks this is as legit as they come. And Sammy Guevara's just laying into him at multiple times.
Yeah, and then you look at Vitor Belfort kind of disappeared.
Yep.
Rashad Evans kind of disappeared. Henry Cejudo was seen in the back just looking awkward on the stage. But it'll be interesting to see. So far, they have not shown. They did not, from my knowledge, they did not show up tonight.
No, they did not. As far as I know, they did not show up tonight. He called Chris Jericho. Spoiler alert. Chris Jericho called out the baddest man. He did not show up. Instead of Orange Cassidy showed up.
But you're talking about the baddest man. You could kind of say Conor McGregor is one of the baddest guys on the planet right now. And Conor McGregor is making weird headlines after weird headlines. Dude, did you see his Instagram video?
How do you eat bees?
It's a delicacy apparently somewhere.
How? Somebody needs to explain to me that because they don't have honey and he ate bees.
From a jar where their stingers were already cut off.
I don't care.
So they were already dead, but I guess they're a delicacy somewhere and they're apparently good for you. But it was the weirdest video I think
I
I've
know
ever
the
seen.
delicacies, there's like a whole bunch of different delicacies all around the world that you eat different things. I get it, but
eat worms.
I will
eat
never eat
crickets.
bees. That was just weird.
Mm-hmm.
Took a jar, straight down the pipe.
Well, we first took like a couple.
Yes.
Popped a couple. And I was like, I'm over it. Click.
Yeah. But oh my God. Connor. This is what the lockdown and everything else going on in this world does to people.
Well, the beard and the hair. The beard and the hair, I guess.
Boy looks like he hasn't seen a barber. Well, a lot of people haven't seen a barber yet.
Hair. That's what Conor McGregor has. But I guess when you're bored out of your mind, you take to social media, and he apparently accepted a fight with Anderson Silva. And
no, please don't.
It was asked about my take about what I thought about Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor, and I said it's ridiculous. Well, why is it ridiculous? Because of the fact that it's almost eerily similar to Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao.
Yes.
Way past your prime.
Wait.
Two fighters shouldn't even happen, but it did. This fight should not even happen. Go ahead. Just talk about it. I think Conor McGregor is just trying to stay relevant on the scene. But to wrap up the show, one guy that's not staying relevant is, what did I say last week?
What did we say?
When Tyrone Woodley uttered the words that, I'm going to
give you
Gilbert
3 rounds.
Burns the first 3 rounds. We told you that was a bad decision. It turned out to be a very bad decision. Gilbert Burns destroyed him. Made him look bad in every sense.
And what did I tell you? Physically, he looked good. Physically, probably one of the best that he has looked in a while. But again, it comes down to your mindset, folks. As an MMA fighter, you go inside that cage and they lock that cage door behind you. You see another man that's right across from you that has one objective to knock your block off. Tyrone Woodley's head wasn't even in this fight. He apologized to his fans on his Instagram Live. He apologized. Said he felt good and everything else. But one subtle piece that was inside that footage that not a lot of people were talking about was he talked about the protests that is going on in this world. That was on his head. Therefore, he was not in this fight. If you have other things that sidetrack your mind going inside of a cage, you are not there.
Why would you do yourself a disfavor? Like in this,
you put yourself in harm's way because you were not there.
No, he was half there, half not.
Yeah.
And then a guy who's a beast and an animal like Gilbert Burns showed exactly why he is a rising star.
I see Tyrone Woodley as a meme, and I automatically see Kevin Hart. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
Oh my goodness! When you look at this, and people are saying like Gilbert Burns called for a title shot, and people were like, "Oh, Leon Edwards should get it." Well, Leon Edwards can't
still stuck in Canada.
He's still stuck there. But if he does, why not just make it a Burns versus Edwards #1 contender?
On Fight Island. On Fight Island, Edwards, Burns.
But he gets Usman.
Sean, Burns just jumped all the way to the top to the #1 contendership. Leon Edwards falls all the way down to number 5. He can't get out of Canada. I don't even know why he dropped that far. But I look at Burns and I think Yakurai Souza when I see him. I see him.
Hands.
Well, so did Yakurai Souza, but I think that they missed a boat on Yakurai Souza when he came over from Strikeforce, beat Luke Rockhold. I think he should have gotten the title shot there, but they never really saw much potential in him in terms of interviews, selling him, or anything like that. Gilbert Burns is like the better version of Yakurai Souza because he's like, I'm going to whoop this guy's butt. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. I'm going to own it, and you're going to see me run rampant. So I kind of like this version of Yakurai.
It's an interesting one, and the fact that Burns said that he's not worried about facing his teammate.
No.
If his teammate has the title, he'll go straight for it.
Burns versus Kamaru Usman would be a gnarly fight. Gnarly fight. And I would seriously be okay with that. I would.
Absolutely.
That would be a very, 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 very good fight. I'm all down for it.
Absolutely.
But we're the Ducross brothers. I appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning into us. But that's pretty much all we got, Sean, right?
Absolutely. So, guys, we'll be back next week. Maybe at the same time. Because I think he likes to do it a little bit later now.
I kind of do. Do you guys like a later show?
Leave us a comment. Let us know if you want us to do it.
Drop
later.
us a comment. Hit the subscribe button, the bell icon, notifications, so you can stay up to with the Ducross brothers. I'm Tristan Ducross. This is Sean Ducross. I Love Auntie. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Appreciate the love. Go to iloveauntie.com for all your CBD needs. Muscle rubs, oils, you name it. They got you covered. Use promo code DucrossBros.
I guess our boys from Fightbook doesn't want us to leave just yet. Even though you did your whole spiel.
You kind of mentioned it about him taking on Garcia.
I did.
Before we bounce out of here, we were asked a question. I'll come back again. Cyril, again,
he wants Ryan Garcia.
That's like Chris Jericho saying that I can box with the best of them. I've been taking boxing. I've been taking mixed martial arts. I can take Mike Tyson in a boxing match. No, you can't. In a worked boxing match? Sure. We've had Mr. T, Rowdy Piper, Evander Holyfield.
I will let this go.
But not in a boxing.
We'll touch on this a little bit more next week. But I'll let this one marinate with this one last thing.
Drop it.
So, Ryan Garcia is with Golden Boy.
Yes.
Golden Boy is with DAZN.
Yes. Money. Although they're having issues lately.
Eddie Hearn is with DAZN. Henry Cejudo, UFC. What did we talk about last week? Matchroom,
the crossover.
Fight Camp, Dana White, mashup. Maybe. But on that note, we'll talk about this more next week.
Yep, because we also got to talk about Dylan White at Fight Camp.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. Drop a little bit of nugget. And then we might also have a special something.
Marinate on that one.
Special something for the first time. We haven't done it in a while, but it might happen on next week's show. So stay tuned for more with the Ducross brothers. Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross. We're the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors. Cross that line. Hit that subscribe button, that bell notification. Appreciate the love. Until next time, we're the Ducross brothers. We are signing off.
Let's get it on! Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.